Good evening, King of Avalon. This is Night 10. Hope all of you are doing well out there. Just thought I'd do a quick video about the recent update 6.6. I've updated it earlier today. Was busy, so couldn't do a video earlier. But I'll talk a little bit about the update. But I also want to talk a little bit about some, I guess, strategy or battle formations, troop-related items. And I know a number of you have commented on the videos asking me to do something about troop formation, troop marches. To be honest, I'm not the best. There's some great videos out there from a long time ago, and of course things have been updated. But I will do something related to that, and particularly related to something about cavalry, and then also something about T2s. But before I get into that, I want to talk about the update. And as most of you know, it is about gear, and soon the Redeemer equipment, and you're seeing all my gear here, but soon. Okay, so one thing here is that your essence will be converted to these meteorite irons. Okay, so I'm changing 574 essence to 63 of these irons. Okay, I've done that. And all of your rare essence or rare mats are now also being converted to some other type of material, as this purple material here, meteorite iron, that will be used to upgrade your hegemony gear here. So let's look at the benefits here. And I am +5 on Redeemer. So let's take a quick look. 148 cav health, and I'm not going to go through each one. And 141, 296 siege health, 282, 148 cav health, 141, cav attack 140, 133, 140 for bowman health for the hegemony, and 133. And 155 for cav attack, and 148. And I'm not going through each of the different items for the benefits, but you can see the proportional difference. And you're going to need 100 of these mats, these ingots, to upgrade 100 pieces. So I think I calculated. Let's take a look here. If you really wanted to do it, you're going to need 100 of these. So let's see here. You're gonna need about maybe what, 250 bucks just to activate level 1 of the new hegemony gear. And then once you activate it, to get the +1, you're probably gonna need more of these purple guys. And I don't know, I haven't updated it. I'm not planning on updating hegemony anytime soon. I may. If I do, I'll do a video on it, but as of now, no. But of course, there's probably going to be some other things that are going to require to make it +1. Let's take a look here, and most likely it's going to be something related to these purple adamite, kind of I guess silver adamites. I've got a feeling that you're going to probably need those to upgrade to the higher levels, +1, +2, +3, +4, +5, and maybe I'm sure some other YouTubers out there will probably take a look at that. I couldn't see it in beta, so I couldn't show you an example. So that's that. Of course, we've got the new Time Lord events going on here. And we've got the Lucky Draw going on. These are all standard events that they put out. And they made some changes to the UI. Okay. And the search thing, and I always wanted to know about this. So monsters, I want to find a level 35. Let me search for it. If they're in the area, it'll locate it. Now, one thing I do not like is that when we used to press search for monsters, it would give a list of maybe the top 3, I think 5 monsters or options that are close to you. In this case, you can only do 1, and until your march hits the target, you cannot search for another one because it'll keep bringing you back to the same one. One thing I do like about these, if you can search for a level 7, level 6, whatever level tile, if it's in the area, it'll search for you. But nope. Okay. But anyhow, I kind of like that. But again, one thing that's negative about it is the fact that you've got to wait till your march reaches that in order for you to find another similar target. So, okay. And I think for me, to be honest, in terms of updates, that's kind of like the main thing here. um, you know, new equipment, the new hegemony trial, and that's very similar to every other trial that they put out. You do some basic events, you get some rewards. Excuse me. Let's see, new search function. We talked about it, and you know, we talked about this. Equipment materials all be synthesized, like your cerussite, pine, bronze, etc., also are synthesized, and then your rare equipment mats are also synthesized. Now, that's it that I'm going to cover for 6.6. But what I want to talk about is the first thing related to something related to march formations. And the first one I'll talk about is cavalry, because some of you have noted my marches and thought it was kind of weird, and maybe it isn't good. When I look at my march here, this is my battle march. Well, it doesn't show all the troops right now, but what happens is my cavalry, basically my cav numbers are really, really low. Okay, that's the main point. My cav numbers are really, really low. And that's generally due to the principle that, yeah, cav, you know, I think traditionally have not been known to be very important. They're like a buffer. They're kind of an attacker. Infantry are your meat shield, your defense, and your bowmen are your attackers. And cavalry were kind of a little both, I guess. So one thing is in the Royal Arena, when I'm looting, I can't loot anymore, but what I will do is when I set my troops, I just set this, just whatever, equalize and set it. And when I'm attacking in Royal Arena, I'm using an equalized formation. I'll go filter through as many as I can, and any that are defeated, I try to reset it. Where I now, so I take, for example, this equalized march formation, and this is for Royal Arena, and I reduce the cav down maybe 1 or 2, and I do the difference to here. And sometimes I might do some little plus or minus here, and the infantry add it back to the cav, to the bowmen. But that's my basic formation, and I just go through it and, you know, quickly speed through the attack and see what happens. And I do find that sometimes when I'm attacking with both ways, when I'm attacking with an equalized formation, I'll win some, and then some that I don't lose, I switch it to this kind of formation and I win. And I use this formation in some and lose, and I put it to equalize and I win. So I think I forget which YouTuber it was, but they mentioned that cav aren't really important, so they usually reduce their number of cav in Royal Arena. So with similar philosophy, I was using that for my marches. And let's take a look at this. So this is Fireland. So shout out to you, Kiss of Death, YBS. And so let's take a look here. This is a defeat for me, okay? This is a defeat, and not by much. But then, you know, the buffs, you know, I was pretty much outranked in buffs. So let's look at my formation here. And my cav, you can see about, there was no rhyme or reason. I just try to minimize this to have some kind of a meat shield in terms of cav. But I had about 5,000, 12s, 15,000, 11s, and you can see here for yourself. This is my typical march formation. I think this is what many of you were seeing. So based on some of your comments, and that tells you guys that I am listening and reading your comments, and I do appreciate it. Same person attacked me, and this was on a tile. And of course all these buffs are Fireland buffs, and you know they're elevated and accented or artificially increased due to, no, I'm sorry, that's Conquest, not Firelands. But nonetheless, the key point is, it's not the buffs. It's that this person attacked me again on the tile. We were kind of going back and forth on a level 3 tile, going back and forth. Send an attack, kill me. I send it to take out their tile, so on and so forth. And what happened was, I would send a march. And so I said, you know what? Let me take some of the YouTubers, some of you that comments you have left on my videos, and let me switch around. So what I did do is I slightly modified, played around with my cav. And you see here, 40,000 12s, 40,000 11s. So that's a pretty big increase in my calves, and I left all the others same 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. But you see the difference? It resulted in a victory. And so, you know, again, this isn't some scientific research controlled study, but again, same result. So I think this person saw, because this person did hit me many times and win. Every time this person would hit me on my tile for the first time, I would lose. And then if they left their march there, I'd clean up with a new march. And I guess they thought like, hey, maybe that was a fluke. And again, I had another victory. What was the key thing? Well, in this case, maybe march size. But the key thing, it led to victory. And I know they were probably adjusting their march as well. But my main point is I added more cabs. And so, you know, less cabs here. I don't know what happened. Interesting. I think maybe my march buff went down. But the main point is I sent more cabs. Same thing here. So I think that person learned that, okay, I adjusted my march to accommodate for their march and added more cabs, and you see what happened. So thank you to, I know there were several of you that mentioned cabs and wanted to ask about that. So I think cabs are more important than I thought, at least personally for me. Again, this is not some professional expert level, opinion, but from my opinion, I see that adding more cabs worked. The second point I wanted to bring up, and I'll finish with this, is related to some attacks in a raid. So here I was attacking this individual. Of course, it's not about buffs, but they had a lot of troops. And again, I know one of you mentioned, okay, I don't know strategy, I just spend and whatever. And yeah, but but the main point is, yeah, I kind of attack, and it seems like I don't know what I'm doing. I just like to attack and get troop kills, numbers. However, one thing I am doing, adjusting to my gameplay, is to try to play it more quote-unquote realistically, not to use so many speed ups and be more conservative with the kills and so on and so forth to make it more quote-unquote realistic. So I'm going to try to do that to make it more, I guess, realistic in terms of battle. But my main point is here. So this individual had like maybe 7 million troops, 8 million troops, and I hit their castle. It's not about buffs, but my point is this. And I saw this last time too, and I was like, what's going on with this? The number of T2 infantry, 1.3 million. And I realized that in the other time, there was like 2 million T2. And let's look at T4. Well, T6 are same, but T2, T4, this player buffed up really on T2, T4. And my first hit, look what happened. I wiped them out. And the interesting thing is it was a huge buffer. Because if you looked at the rest of their losses, their troops were pretty much shielded. So those T12 really ate up the brunt of my attack. Very minimal losses other than some cav, okay, which are kind of like a meat shield. Again, T2 cav. But then their bowmen and most of the cav and the other higher level infantry were pretty much shielded from that. So immediately thereafter, I attacked him again pretty quickly, and you can see the troop numbers going down. And let's see what happened here, because a lot of their T2 were now gone, right? So no T2s, so now their T4s took up the brunt of the hit, and the T6s and T8s. So we got a pattern here. Even odd numbered infantry die first. Okay, even numbered infantry die first. So I think thus the logic about the T12 buffing out on T12s and so on and so forth. So let's look at this one. Nope, same one. And the final attack here. So at this point, now all their lower level troops are being eaten up, and let's look here. So now you can see there now I hit their T10s, and T2s were gone, T1s were now wiped out. And I think and then the other odd numbered troops would start to be eaten. So I was going to try to zero him, but nah, I didn't. But the main point is, I guess that T2 maxing out, or just like flooding your castle with T2s, T4s, maybe the even numbered troops will help buffer. Now my concern is this, here, let's look here. First hit, 1.7 million losses. Now it's kind of weird. Maybe their hospital was already full. There's only like 24,000 wounded. I don't know. Maybe they were hit prior. But look at the losses. Now this is raid, so that's a little different. So again, 10% of your raid losses. So theoretically, let's say here 1.1 million troops, about 100,000 troops were killed. The rest will be revivable or using the resurrection coins in raid. But if this were a real battle, one thing you have to think about is if you get hit, your hospitals will get filled up. And if you have your alliance hospital, well, that's really a pain in the butt to get troops out of there. And then you have your sanctum. Okay, so now I think that if you are actively playing, and here I have 1.24 million capacity for my sanctum. If you are actively playing, and you let them hit you, they take the loss, and then you shield up, move away, fine. But if you're not on, and you're not on game, and you're letting this happen, you might actually sustain a lot of losses because your lower level troops just filled up your hospital spaces or your sanctum. So something to keep in mind. Yeah, so I thought I'd put out maybe kind of a quote-unquote semi-technical video. I know many of you are asking about troop formations. This isn't about formation, but it was specifically more about cavalry and then also flooding your troops with a bunch of T2s and lower-level infantry. But hopefully this video helped you, gave you some insight, maybe some ideas on how you might modify your troop formations and in terms of your plans, your strategic plan for growing your troops. But with that, we'll call it an evening.